What's going on YouTube? It's your guy Darren, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. On my channel, I talk about fragrances as well as fashion. So if smelling good and looking great are of some kind of importance to you, and I think you may find this channel to be of value. So go ahead and click that subscribe button if you don't mind. And then take another quick second to tap that bell icon as well to make sure you get notified every time I upload new content on the channel. So on today, guys, I'm going to be giving my impressions or kind of reviewing the newest release from the house of Yves Saint Laurent from the Y line, which is the latest release that was released this year in the year of 2021, and that is Y Le Parfum. Now, I have had this fragrance in my collection now for about a month, and I have had a chance to wear it, and I wanted to kind of compare it and contrast it up against the other releases from this house. So I'm ready to give you guys my take on it. So if you want to hear my thoughts on the newest release from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, the Y line, then you know why you need to keep it locked right here. So go ahead and do so. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in, man. Let's go ahead and jump right into this video. First, we're going to take a look at the presentation. So this is the box for the new Y Le Parfum. Of course, it is giving you a great indicator of what the bottle is going to look like. It's black. it's black. It's a dark box. And of course, the bottle is the same thing. It's very, very dark, black from top to bottom. There's not much of a gradient look on this one like some of the other bottles, but it's a dark colored bottle, which of course indicating the darker, or to me, heavier concentration of this fragrance. So the fragrance itself, the bottle, here's a look at the bottle. Again, it's black in color all the way through, but I do like the presentation on this fragrance. There's the back. Again, nothing really special going on. It looks, you know, as far as the bottle, the overall bottle is concerned, it looks just like the previous releases. Again, they just went dark from top to bottom on the bottle this time. So again, not really much of a difference outside of the color of the bottle. It looks exactly like the previous releases from this house. I have the other three fragrances as well that were released that are different concentrations of this. I've never smelled a Y Live. So I can't really talk about that one, but the other three main releases from this Y line, I have the original here, which you guys can see. Of course, I knocked out a lot of that bottle. As I told you guys before, this is a compliment magnet. I love the original DNA. That's why I was interested in the others. The next one that I got in my collection actually was the Eau Fraiche version, which is this one right here. Now, the last one that I got was actually the Eau Le Parfum, because for some reason to me this one was a little bit more floral and sweet. It seems like when this one was released, and when I first smelled it, for some reason, honestly, just like the initial, when I first smelled it, I was like, I'll pass for now. But I'm telling you, I'm glad I have the EDP, because now I think this is honestly my second favorite of the whole line, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So again, all the bottles pretty much the same. You just have different colors as it relates to the bottle itself, but they have the exact same presentation as far as the overall bottle. Now let's get a little bit more into this one, Le Parfum, in reference to what this actually smells like. So let's take a little bit closer look at the smell of this fragrance. All right, so I'm going to give myself a fresh spray of this stuff, so we can kind of see the sprayer, how the sprayer works, and also we can get into talking a little bit more about the smell. So I'm going to give myself a fresh spray. Sprayer is good on this, just like the other releases from this line. Now, when I first smelled this fragrance, I was in the store, I sprayed it on my skin, and immediately I'm like, hey, I'm getting that, right? I really, really liked it. But the opening, the initial opening, did not initially remind me of the original Y, the EDT. What it did remind me of was this right here. Mont Blanc Legend Spirit. You know, that same fresh, vibrant, invigorating opening that you get from Mont Blanc Legend Spirit is the same thing that I picked up when I initially sprayed Y Le Parfum. And because I'm such a big fan of this fragrance and what it smells like, of course my initial reaction was, boom, yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up. Now, I did stay in the store for about 10 minutes, and I will tell you, after about the first 5 to 10 minutes, you're gonna start to pick up the original DNA of Y EDT. So it is in there. Honestly, if you look at the note breakdown, they're pretty much the same. I could really simplify this review if you smelled the EDT before and just kind of tell you that the main thing that you're missing from this fragrance that makes it different from the EDT is this one doesn't have that mint in the opening. So it's missing a little bit of that extra freshness that you get from this one. But again, that's cool because if you're looking at concentration, Le Parfum concentration of the fragrance, you're probably going to expect the fragrance to not be quite as vibrant, quite as citrusy maybe, or quite as airy and aromatic as you would expect from the EDT. So I think that was a good move not to include the mint in this particular offering. But pretty much outside of that, the notes are pretty much the same. You get the fruitiness from the apple, get the soapiness that comes in from the aldehyde. So again, at about the first 5 to 10 minutes, you are going to start to pick up on the DNA of the original Y Eau de Toilette. Now, as Y Le Parfum starts to dry down, you're going to start to pick up on some other subtle differences and nuances that make this fragrance a little bit different from the EDT, which again, that's cool because when you come out with a flanker, I do want there to be something different about the fragrance. I want there to be some familiarity there where you can say, okay, yeah, I pick up on the original, especially if it's a fragrance that you really like I enjoy the EDT, but you do want there to be some subtle differences that make the fragrance worth a purchase, that makes it worth picking up the fragrance and not making it a redundant purchase. And you can definitely pick that up here, whereas this one goes a little bit more of a woody dry down. I think you have cedarwood, vetiver, cedar, vetiver, and I can't remember the other note, but something kind of resonance on the dry down. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was some kind of balsam note. Can't remember exactly what it was, but it's a little bit more of a warm kind of woody dry down on this one. And this one right here has tonka bean, so it's a little bit sweeter. So the dry down on Le Parfum is sweeter than the dry down on the EDT, which again, it makes it work because to me it gives it a little bit more of a darker kind of dry down with the sweetness that you get from tonka bean, which I really like the addition of the tonka bean to this DNA. But outside of that, pretty much again, all the notes in the fragrance are the same, so it doesn't stray or depart too much from the original, but enough to make this fragrance different. And in the case if you like this DNA, enough where I could say that it would warrant a purchase, and it's not going to be a redundant purchase. So now let's take a little bit closer look at the performance. Now, this being a Le Parfum version of this fragrance, I can tell you that it does not project as much as the EDT, but that is to be expected. The more fragrance oil you put into a fragrance, typically, the less it is going to project, but the more it's going to stick around. With the original EDT, I get that 5.5, maybe 6.5 hour mark, and that's, on a good day. But this one does push for me. I can still pick it up lightly at about the 7.5 hour mark. So they did increase the performance on this fragrance, which again is cool with me because I kind of expected that with this being a higher oil concentration in this fragrance. So again, it gets about that 6.5, 7.5 hour mark, the time that I wanted. So I'm cool with the performance, nothing beast mode, but it does work. And as far as seasons, just like the other releases from this line, pretty much spring, summer is the best time to wear it, but you can get away with wearing this in the fall as well. Even if you are in a climate controlled environment, you can actually rock this in the winter as well, and it definitely will work as well in the wintertime, especially in an office type environment. Listen, just like the EDT, it's a mass appealing scent DNA that people just are attracted to, and it just works. So it's easy to wear. So overall, again, I am pleased with this purchase and having this in my collection. A happy addition to the Y line up. Now, just really quickly, again, I have 4 offerings from the Y line. And I still would say to me that is just something about the EDT that makes it my favorite of the bunch. And then somehow now I do enjoy the EDP. So that would be my second choice. And then Le Parfum. And then the Eau Fraiche. This one is the one out of the bunch to me that strays away the most from the original DNA. Again, you can still pick it up, but this one is not as good to me as the other 3. But again, it's not a bad fragrance, but to me, if I had to give my choice, this would be my least preferred of the 4 from the Y flankers. But all right, guys, that's it. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed this video as I gave you a review on the newest release from the Y line, which is Y Le Parfum. As always, I appreciate your time and attention to these videos because, of course, I know you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you took a few moments to watch this video, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take a few moments to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and share these videos out to folks that you think could use this information or find me entertaining, because I'm your guy, Darian, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.